Have you ever noticed that Japanese children seem remarkably calm, focused, and responsible without their parents constantly hovering over them or issuing commands? There's a reason for that, and it has nothing to do with strict rules, punishment, or demanding obedience. The Japanese approach to raising self-disciplined children is something that genuinely surprised me when I first discovered it, because it goes completely against what most Western parenting culture tells us to do. Today, I want to walk you through the real philosophy behind it and the everyday practices that make it work. Let's start with something that completely shifts the way you think about parenting. In Japan, when a child misbehaves or acts out, the first question parents and caregivers ask is not what is wrong with this child. The question they ask is what is wrong with the environment. That single shift in perspective changes everything. Because when you stop trying to fix the child and start designing the world around them more thoughtfully, something remarkable happens. Children begin to regulate themselves without being told. Think about your own home for a moment. If toys are piled into one giant bin where everything gets mixed together and nothing has a clear place, how would a young child ever know where to put something back? They would not. And yet we get frustrated when they leave things everywhere. The environment was set up for chaos. So, of course, chaos followed. Japanese caregiving philosophy says that when you create order in the physical space, you create the conditions for order in the child's behavior. Low shelves where books and toys are displayed clearly, only a small selection visible at once, everything with its own defined place. When a child can see where something belongs, they will often return it there on their own, not because you told them to, because the environment made it obvious. This is the foundation, but it goes deeper than just tidying up your living room. The next layer of this approach is rhythm. Japanese households tend to organize a child's day around a gentle, predictable flow of activities, and the power of this is often underestimated. When children know what comes next, they do not fight transitions. There is no battle to stop playing and come to dinner. There is no meltdown at bedtime. The sequence of the day becomes familiar, almost like a song. And actually, that metaphor is not accidental. In Japanese culture, there is a tradition of using simple little melodies, called warabe uta, to signal the movement from one part of the day to the next. There are songs for waking up, for washing hands, for bath time. The melody itself becomes the cue, and the child's body and mind learn to respond to it naturally. You do not need to adopt Japanese folk songs to apply this idea. The principle is simply that predictability creates safety, and safety creates cooperation. A child who feels safe and grounded in their routine is a child who can regulate their emotions, make choices, and move through the day without constant adult intervention. That is self-discipline in one of its purest forms. Now here's where we get into something that genuinely challenges the modern parenting instinct. Most of us were raised in a culture that loves praise. We tell children they are amazing, brilliant, the best. We hand out gold stars and trophies and constant verbal applause. And while that feels loving, Japanese parenting philosophy suggests that it might actually be undermining the very thing we want to build. Here's why. When a child can only feel confident because someone outside of them said they did great, that confidence is fragile. It depends on external approval. True self-discipline, the kind that sustains a person through difficult moments when no one is watching, has to come from within. I've linked a resource in the description that I think you'll find really helpful. So instead of saying you are so smart or you are the best, Japanese parents tend to acknowledge the effort itself. They help the child notice their own progress. Did you do a little more today than you could yesterday? Did you try something you found difficult? Did you take one small step forward? The celebration is about the child's own growth, not their performance compared to others. And when a child accomplishes something and genuinely feels that success in their body, something shifts. They start doing things because it feels good to accomplish them, not because someone will clap for them. There is also something deeply intentional about how Japanese parenting treats daily tasks and contributions. Children in Japanese homes are given real responsibilities from a young age, carrying their own dishes, helping with laundry, wiping down the table after a meal. These are not elaborate chores. They are small, manageable contributions to the life of the family, and the philosophy behind them is significant. Children are not just small people who need to be cared for until they are old enough to care for themselves. They are members of the family, full participants in household life. When we treat them that way, they feel capable, they feel needed, and that feeling of genuine contribution becomes another internal source of motivation. What makes this powerful is that it does not require perfection. A toddler wiping a table is not going to do it the way you would. That is not the point. The point is the act of trying, of being trusted with a real task, of experiencing what it feels like to help. Each small effort is a step toward a child who believes they are capable. And running through all of this is something quieter, something harder to describe, but maybe the most important element of all. Japanese culture places deep value on stillness and presence. The idea, rooted in Zen philosophy, that a calm mind is the soil where all other good things grow. For children, these quiet moments come in simple forms: a warm bath at the end of the day, a picture book read together in a soft voice, a few minutes before sleep where a parent says simply, "Thank you for today. I am happy because you are here." This is not about making children sit still or meditate in any formal sense. It is about building into daily life these pockets of calm where a child can return to themselves, process the emotions of the day, and feel genuinely connected to the people who love them. Self-discipline is so much easier to build when a child feels emotionally secure, when they are not constantly dysregulated by chaos, uncertainty, or the need to earn approval. The thread running through all of these practices is a quiet but profound belief that children do not need to be controlled. They need to be trusted. They need an environment that sets them up for success. They need rhythms that help them feel safe. They need to be seen for their effort and growth. They need to contribute. They need stillness. And when all of that is in place, self-discipline does not have to be demanded or punished into existence. It grows from within, slowly and steadily, the way all genuinely strong things grow. This is not about raising obedient children. It is about raising children who think for themselves, trust themselves, and choose to act well because they understand why it matters. That is the real reason Japanese children grow up the way they do. And the beautiful thing is, none of this requires perfection from you as a parent. It just requires a shift in where you are looking.